Hello and welcome to this latest edition of The Buzz, everything that's happening in Green Wave Sports at Abington High School. My name is Shawn Reilly. It's my pleasure to bring you some additional updates to what's going on in the halls and in the gymnasiums and the fields in and surrounding Abington High School. Today, this show is going to concentrate on two of our winter sports in particular, our girls varsity basketball program and our boys hockey program. Two have been very successful this season. And we also have the boys varsity. We'll give a little bit of an update with them later. But to start off, we're going to talk to two of the members of our girls varsity team. And seated with me today at the table are our junior, Mary Klein, and one of our seniors, Olivia Mcguire. Ladies, welcome to The Buzz.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
I've been able to be fortunate to watch a lot of your games, both on TV and live. You guys have had a very successful season. You've been building and building throughout the years. You've been really, you have the three seniors and you've got a lot of good underclassmen. And Liv, as a senior, what's it feel like now that the season has come to an end, but looking back on the season, was it an enjoyable way to finish up your basketball career at Abington?
I couldn't have imagined a better season to end off on. I mean, it's very bittersweet ending my basketball career, but I know that the girls will take care of the program next year, and we've had honestly such a great season. We've bonded, we became such a close team, we've all become best friends, and now it's been really fun.
You can really notice it. You guys are more than just a team. You're all friends, you have fun. In particular, you guys got a lot of press lately, social media wise, with your little let's dress up like coach during practice. Can they tell me who started that idea?
That was Natalie Van Luling's idea, one of our sophomores.
We're doing like a theme practice all week, so every week it's something different. And the first day was like dress like our coach.
So for the viewers at home, what do you need to do to dress like the coach?
Well, it's not that hard. He usually sticks like sweatshirts. That's his go-to. His long shorts.
Long basketball shorts, sneakers.
Yep.
White socks.
We're talking about Coach Dan Norton, who will be with us later today in this show. And there was a great photo on TV of all of you guys dressed that way. And then I saw another one. You had a pajama sleepover practice.
We have
pajamas.
And stuff.
Good way to end the season with some fun relaxation. Which is important for basketball.
Yeah.
You can't be too stiff out there in the court. And Mary, you're a junior, you're one of the underclassmen. I think those viewers of Abington Green Wave Girls Basketball have seen a real strong group of underclassmen coming up. What are you looking forward to into the next year?
Again, like Liv said, like it's bittersweet, but we're definitely like looking forward. We're gonna miss you guys so much. Like I love our team. We do have like plenty to look forward to. There's so many underclassmen like Ella Williamson, Rebecca Ricks, Aaliyah, like there's tons of them. I think like we'll be guard heavy next year, but it won't be a bad thing. We'll definitely just like keep making progress with the team.
A little bit of a run and gun offense potentially next year. Now, Olivia, you're one of the three seniors. Let's talk about the seniors. Who are the other two? Let's bring them up and just tell us about your role as leaders of this team.
Yeah, so it's myself, Elizabeth Campbell, and Sydney Brundage. And I feel like we're like the perfect set. We're like the perfect trio because Sydney is kind of the quiet one, but she like says what she needs to say, and she can connect with some girls on a different level. I don't know. I feel like she has like a separate bond with some of the girls. And then Elizabeth is kind of like, I don't even know how to describe Elizabeth.
She talks really well. Yeah. Like she knows what she's talking about. Like she's just really good energy. IQ. Yeah.
She's she's a really good person to have on your team. Like everybody needs an Elizabeth on their team.
Yeah,
she just brings so much.
She's great, and Elizabeth, the other seniors, your parents, there's a lot of involvement at that level. And I thought your senior night game was a great way to cap off that season. Let's talk about that game. It was an exciting game right to the very end.
That game was so exciting. We played West Bridgewater before, and they're like smaller gyms, so we were looking forward to like a good game in our home gym with like a crowd. But it was super exciting.
Yeah. It was a great game to go off on.
Yeah.
And it was nice to get the seniors and their parents out there at half court, get a little shout out to mom and dad and everything, and really to thank them for the years that they put in to get you guys up to this level, because they've been with you from youth basketball, and I know you guys are both products of youth basketball. You played around here in the Abington gyms, the Frollo, the high school, the ECC, and I know you guys also give back to the youth basketball now that you're superstars at the varsity level. What is it that you guys do to help the younger kids in town?
So we haven't been able to do it that much this year just because of COVID, but we did do it a couple times, and then in years past, the girls come in on Monday nights, and we do a little skills clinic with them, so we'll break off into groups. We have, like, it's grades 5 through 7, 4 through 7?
Yes.
Sometimes younger even.
Yeah.
And they come in after our practice, and we do different things with them. So we'll teach them, like, creative layups, do some ball handling with them. We'll play some knockout.
It's
really
more
fun.
like us like teaching them like one-on-one and like team on team, and it's just super fun. We do it all summer too.
Yeah.
It's like Tuesdays and Thursdays or something on
Yeah.
like during the summer, but
That's great, and those kids look up to you, and
Yeah.
I'm sure they recognize you when they see you at Trukey's or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, and that's her, you know, and it's important. I remember, you know, I used to coach youth basketball, and it's a great investment in the community. It's how kids get to know each other, work hard with each other, and then they have the confidence to go out and try out for JV and varsity basketball. So kudos to you guys for giving back. And I know you mentioned that you have a summer kind of program that you guys volunteer with or work with Coach Norton.
Yeah.
Again?
Yes.
And where's that held?
it's here. Yeah.
At Abington High School.
With Dan.
Yes.
Great, and I was already told that if you're interested, if you're a parent of a younger daughter and would like to get involved, you can reach out to Coach Norton at his email address, which is Coach Dan AHS, which is Abington High School, CoachDanAHS@gmail.com. He can give you some information about that, and we'll talk more with Coach Norton as we proceed through this program. Now, Mary Klein and Olivia Mcguire have two last names that are basically, you know, well known in the basketball courts here at Abington, because you both have older brothers, older siblings who have played before. And what was that like? Did that put more pressure on you, or do you think it kind of better prepared you for your spot in the spotlight?
I don't think it was so much pressure, just as kind of like a standard.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Like you want to uphold
Yeah.
that
I agree.
same standard
Yeah.
that the boys had. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you've done a great job at it. I mean, you had your brothers, Jack Mcguire and Matt Mcguire, 1,000-point scorer, and then, of course, Will Klein, who hit the shot heard around the world at TD Garden, amongst other things. I mean, you know, so we kind of knew who you guys were coming up, and
Yeah.
have been looking forward to watching you play in your upperclassmen years. And I think you've kind of shown your own mettle. You've done very well. And I know I'm assuming they've been very big supporters of you as
Yeah.
you've been
Of
playing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's been nice to see them at some of your games as when they're at college now, so when
Yeah.
they can get back. And your classmates, let's get back to some of your teammates. Who have you seen? I don't want to pick one person out of the crowd, but I'm sure you've been kind of proud of how one or two of them have developed or kind of getting more confident through this season. Or anyone that you just want to really give them a atta girl, you really worked hard this year?
I would say Rebecca Ricks, just because I don't think she has she doesn't realize how good she is.
Yeah.
Like
She's only a sophomore, too.
She's a sophomore. She's like very well rounded, and I think she's going to be like a super big like contribution to the team in the next couple of years.
Yeah, she's a real competitor.
She's very
Too.
competitive.
Really kind of drives the
She's
team.
our point guard.
She's the one person I don't
Yeah.
want to go against in practice.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
good. You need that on the team, and
You
it kind
do.
of pushes everyone else to
Pushes
go.
everyone else.
Yeah, and I think, and you have a great coaching staff. Coach Dan Norton's been here for several years with Abington, and you've got a couple of coaches for the JV and freshmen, Coach Colley and
Yes.
Coach Warden, who are also previously Abington High School stars. How has the blend been there with the coaches and the players and all?
It's been great.
Yeah.
I mean, having Jenny here has been, we're just so thankful to
So
have her.
fun.
She has so much experience. I mean, she played here, 1,000-point score here. She played at Stonehill. I mean, it's great to have someone like her
Yeah.
helping us because she knows what it was like
Right.
to be
Right.
a high school girls basketball player.
Yes.
And she knows. She
At
just gets
Abington,
it.
yeah.
She gets
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and she can bring that college experience and the
Yeah.
drills that she learned
Exactly,
at Stonehill
yeah.
back to Abington High School.
Her advice is always very good and spot on.
And for the viewers at home who don't know who Jenny is, Jenny Warden is the all-time leading scorer, both men's and women's, at Abington High School. She is a stellar basketball player who graduated Abington High School and then went on to Stonehill College, and now is back working as an assistant coach here at the
Yes.
Abington
Yes.
Girls Varsity Program. So all you youngsters, you want some good coaching, come to Abington High
Yeah.
School, and that's where it's going to be.
Yeah.
Any final words you want to talk about your season as a whole? just a great one. You kind of probably didn't know what to expect at the beginning of the year, but you think you did more than what you thought you'd do? Or
I think so. I think
Yeah.
we had like a better like outcome, and I'm just really happy to like end the season this way. And of course, we'll miss the seniors very much.
we will.
Yes.
Olivia, now, so what happens now, girls, as the winter season ends, we go to the spring. Got any
Yes.
plans for the spring here at Abington High School?
We're both playing lacrosse.
Yeah, we're both
with
playing
Coach Colley.
lacrosse with Coach Colley.
Great, so good things continue.
Yeah.
So you'll
Yeah.
be out there in the turf field pretty soon as,
Soon.
The snow
Couple
clears.
weeks. Yep.
That's
Can't
great. Well,
wait.
we wish you well in your spring season.
Thank
Want to
you.
congratulate you on a great winter season.
Thank you.
You will see next year.
Yes.
You, best of luck at the collegiate
Thank
level.
you.
I'm sure you'll do well. Olivia Mcguire and Mary Klein, two of the best here at Abington High School. We're happy to have them join us. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to bring in Coach Dan Norton and get his opinion on what things, the good things that happened during this past season at Abington Green Wave Girls Varsity Basketball. We'll be right back.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
All right, we're back with more of The Buzz. We had a nice conversation with Mary and Olivia, and now we're going to bring on to the set their head coach, a guy named Dan Norton. If you've been to any of the Green Wave girls basketball games, you know Dan. Dan, welcome aboard to The Buzz.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it.
You have been the leader of our Abington Green Wave girls varsity program now for 5 years?
Correct.
5 years, and you've been building this program stronger and stronger every year. You just came off another great season, a great finish to this season.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it briefly. With only 3 seniors in this year's class, you had a very strong season, and I just, again, want to bring up that senior night. The last game there was a thriller. It was fun.
It's exciting.
It was.
Yeah.
Good for everyone, and we were talking off camera beforehand. A 1-point victory.
Yep. 50-49.
Yeah, so you had, all the families were there waiting for it, and you kind of wanted, it was all decorated, and you couldn't have written the script better.
Yeah, I mean, our seniors this year have been special. I mean, every year it's always bittersweet when it ends, kind of like the girls reference, but, they've just stepped up this year, and, through everything they've been through with COVID and through their whole high school, they've just been adapting on the fly and been great leaders and role models for not just our program, but the whole community. We do a lot with the youth, and they were at the senior night game. The third graders were all there, and
Yeah.
a lot of the parents were excited to be a part of the atmosphere, and it was just a really nice way for them to kind of end maybe their careers. We're still waiting to see if we make the tournament or not, but at least end their last home game most likely at Abington. So it was exciting. They deserved it.
And you're right. I mean, I think a lot of people kind of don't give them enough credit, the student athletes here at Abington, especially our basketball players, going through COVID, working through COVID, wearing their masks. Really, they don't complain here at Abington High School. They just do the job, they work hard, and they do a great job with it. And they set a good example for our younger kids.
They do.
And I think they do a great job of reaching out to the young kids. I know you as a head coach know the importance of the youth programs and the junior varsity programs and all. And you've got a lot of great underclassmen coming up through the ranks to prepare for next year.
Yeah, no, we really do. I mean, our season next year is going to be exciting. It's always, like we just said, bittersweet when one ends, but always looking forward to the future. I think we have a lot coming back, and we're going to have a very different style. We're going to be very guard heavy. We have a limited number of forwards returning, so we're going to play fast, and it's going to be fun, and I think it'll really suit the strengths that we have coming back.
And so you've been here at Abington High School for 5 years.
Yep.
Where were you before that?
So I coached at Pittsburgh State University as the associate head coach for the women's team, and then I was at Pembroke High School for 4 years before that, and I was at Milton Academy for a couple years and at Fontbonne Academy for a couple years.
Dan, I'll tell you a story. When they were interviewing for coaches when you were hired that year, I knew a girl here, a student athlete, who wasn't sure if she was going to go to Abington High School to a private school, and I had actually coached her at junior at the youth basketball, and her parents called me and said, anything you can do to try to ask Abington High School to hire Dan Norton would be great, because if Dan coaches at Abington, my daughter wants to go to Abington. So
oh, wow.
that said something to me about you, even though I hadn't even met you.
Yeah.
And so welcome aboard.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Glad
That's
to have
always
you.
nice.
And you got a great coaching staff that you've built now. Let's talk about the recent additions of Coach Katie Colley and Coach Jenny Warden.
Yep.
got to be a great pick-me-up in additions to your program.
Yeah, I mean, it's never just about one person when you have a program. I mean, it's a group effort. It takes a village, like everybody says, you know. And Coach Colley and Coach Warden are awesome. I mean, they're both Abington alums. They both played, you know, on the hardwood as well as outside, you know, on the turf and the grass. So they're experienced. They know how to relate to the kids. They're great role models. They're really good coaches. I mean, Coach Warden's knowledge of basketball is through the roof. I mean, she's played at a high level, and you know, she does a really good job connecting. And Coach Colley's got a lot of experience as a coach and a varsity coach in other sports, you know. So she's great too. I mean, I'm lucky to have them. They really are. They're awesome. They make it easy and fun.
Well, it's great you just said that, the fun, and they're both competitors.
Yep.
You're a competitor.
Yep.
And you guys have a certain style here in Abington where it's not an overly critical, yell at the kids type of thing. It's a positive encouragement. Let's teach you, you know, correct your mistakes, but let's do better and kind of forget the last play. And I think a lot of people underestimate how much a coach has to deal with different personalities.
Yeah.
And I want to give you guys credit for how, you know, there are some players that you need to push and you need to get them going, and there are others that you have to be a little bit more kind of like, don't have to say a word to these guys. They're going to do it on their own. And sometimes it needs a couple of games and a lot of practice to figure out who you need to talk to.
Yeah, absolutely.
But leaders rise to the surface.
Yeah, you know, and a big thing for us is try to create player leaders. I think it's important for the kids to, you know, I mean, obviously we're there to guide them and lead them, and, you know, that's our role and that's our job. But I think it's important that, you know, what we're doing here is it's more than basketball. It's trying to create an atmosphere where these kids can kind of excel as a leader and as a role model and get used to that before they get beyond high school and into the real world, where they can kind of become leaders of their own and pass it on to the next generation. So we really try to focus on that.
Yeah, I think one thing that sports at the high school level really does, no matter what sport you're playing, it really forces these student athletes to learn how to budget their time.
Yeah.
You know, you have a
Absolutely.
full day of school, and then you've got 2 or 3 hours of practice, or you have a game, or you're traveling to and from Mashpee or whatever.
Yep.
You know, you've got to budget your time to get your homework done. Much like the kids who aren't student athletes but have a part-time job after school, they got to budget the time. I think that alone is a huge life skill to learn at a young age like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And you guys are great at kind of helping them do that. So it's really something that you got to admire from some of these Abington High School players, and they're very successful at doing it.
Yep.
Because a lot of your players are great athletes, but they're also great students.
Oh yeah, a lot of them are on the National Honor Society,
Yep.
and they're doing a lot of other extracurriculars on top of playing a varsity sport and going to school full time, obviously.
And to that, and giving back to the community and some of the extracurriculars, we talked with Olivia and Mary earlier about the clinics you do for the younger girls and boys for the basketball program. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so you know, the coaching staff and the boys and us, we get together and we run some clinics throughout the summer and in the off season. That it's free to the Abington community. We do it for all the youth, and myself, Coach Serino, Coach Brown, Coach Tommy Carey, and you know, hopefully this year it's the first year Coach Warden and Coach Colley have been a part of our staff, so hopefully they'll be a part of it in the summer as well. But we get some of the varsity players and some of the returners to come down and work with the kids and kind of increase the biggest thing we try to do is increase their love for the game. Yeah, I mean, we work on skill work. We want them to obviously become better basketball players, but you know, we as a community believe if we can make them love the game more, that in itself is the accomplishment we need to connect with the youth, and that really makes them strive for excellence when they get to high school.
And it's free for these youngsters.
100% free.
Which is great. And
Yep.
I know it's a very successful program, and it's held right here at Abington
Right
High
here
School.
at Abington High School, yep.
We have the 2 gyms, and I'll get a lot of room for the kids.
Yep.
And how, if parents, I mean, I'm sure there'll be more information coming out in the future from the Park and Rec and from the basketball program itself, but how do they get in touch with you or the program to sign the kids up?
Yeah, so I mean, anyone can reach out to me at any time via email. My email is coachdanahs@gmail.com, or they can follow our Abington Girls Basketball Twitter account, which is Abington GBB. And that's a great way that we always have, you know, we're sending out whatever we're doing so people in the community know, and, you know, it's an easy way to see updates on our student athletes, you know, at the high school level, and, you know, anyone we can connect with.
So the Twitter is at Abington GBB for
GBB.
Girls Basketball.
Girls Basketball, exactly.
Just so people at home can hear that clearly.
Yep.
Girls Basketball. And you guys do have, it's kind of fun watching the relationship between the girls basketball program and the boys basketball program, both at the coaching level and with the players themselves. I mean, obviously they all go to school together, but they all have their separate schedules, and it's nice to see the support running between the two programs.
Yeah, it really is. You know, I mean, our senior night it's obviously a special night, but it was a great crowd, and you can really see the support. I mean, a lot of the hockey kids came, the hockey coach was there. You know, it's different community in Abington than in a lot of other towns. It's, you know, it's more supportive, and it's, you know, the track coach and I are just talking to each other before practice, and, you know, the softball coach and I are friends. Like, it's just, you know other coaches. It's not just you come, you do your job, focus on your sport. And I think the kids kind of do the same thing. I mean, they connect with the other sports, and they want to support their classmates and their friends, and as they should. You know, that's what it's supposed to be about. It shouldn't be, you know, we're just on our sport and you're on your sport. It should really be one big community.
Well, and kudos to you and Coach Serino and the rest who for building that attitude, you know, here at Green Wave Nation. A lot of stuff to be proud of, and I think once you've been, you know, you bring your kids to a basketball game to watch the girls varsity, the boys varsity, they want to come back because it is a fun experience. You get the music playing, get the crowd going, we get the halftime shooting contest.
Yeah, you do a great job with that stuff. They love it.
But it's just fun to be there.
It is. Yeah, it really is.
And the larger crowd makes it louder, and then the team is just feeding off of that energy.
You know, and honestly, what makes that possible is the great administration at Abington. I mean, that's from Superintendent Schaefer to Principal Bourne to Athletic Director Serino and everybody involved. They create an atmosphere where, you know, the coaches can be successful and the kids can really enjoy the experience on a daily basis, you know, and that's special, you know, and I think Abington should be very grateful for everything they do because not every community is like that. So it's something special here.
It is. We're lucky. We got to keep building on it. We're looking forward to some of these younger kids coming up, both those that are already at the JV level, but some of them might be 6th, 7th grade, 8th grade coming up. And I know you got your eyes on some of them already, kind of see what's coming, you know, get prepared for the futures. But let's talk about the three that are going to graduate out of the program this year: Olivia, Mcguire, and Elizabeth, Campbell, and Sydney Brundage. I always want to say Lacey, but that's her sister.
That's the younger one,
Sydney Brundage. 3 girls, not the loudest girls in the court, but 3 really good leaders for this crowd, for this team.
Yeah, I mean, they really are, and they're a good, diverse group that connects with everyone on the team. I mean, they do a really good job of being competitive and pushing the girls and, you know, kind of keeping our team pushing themselves to their max, you know, but at the same time, we have a lot of fun, you know, and then that's set by the seniors. I mean, it's been a really enjoyable season. I mean, they come every day, they give us everything they have, they want to be coached, they want to get better, they go on the court, and we don't leave any game saying, I wish we did this. We leave the game saying, great job, we gave it our all. And whatever the result is, we can live with that. You know, and that's really comes from the 3 of them because they're the ones that are leading us as the seniors and the most experienced players in the program. You know, so they set the tone, and you know everyone else has kind of followed in line, and you know their impact will be lasting for years after they leave.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think and they do set a good tone of even when you're after a loss, it kind of how you work off of that and reflect off of that kind of builds character. And sets a tone for the next game and kind of just sets an example for the underclassmen.
Yeah, it does. You know, even after a loss, we always say we don't want to accept losing and be okay with it. Obviously, we're striving to win, but at the same time, you can know if it was a good loss or if it wasn't, you know, and we leave the court and we have a nice talk in the locker room usually and kind of assess the situation, and I'm big on the players giving feedback and us kind of having a group discussion versus more of a dictatorship. I don't think that's, you know, it's just not our style, you know, so I think it's good where they kind of own, and, you know, the seniors and the non-seniors, everybody kind of says, well, I think if we did this or we did a good job of this, and I think that really kind of shows the kids what we need to do in the next game to do a little bit better if we lost that game.
Well, Coach, you're doing a great job at the girls program. I want to thank you for coming in on the Buzz and giving up some of your time because I know that you've got practice scheduled in about 5 minutes from now.
We're on our way there right now.
Which is great, you know, even just keep working with these ladies. And again, if you're interested in getting involved with girls basketball, hopefully you're involved with the youth program. Our Abington Youth Basketball program is fun. It's second to none. And it's a great program to learn some of the skills to get ready for the freshman, JV, and varsity programs here at Abington High School. So I encourage parents to get your kids involved and to come to the summer clinics. But Dan, thank you again for coming on. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to switch gears a little bit and go from the hard court to the ice hockey rink and talk with Coach Bryan Woodford in just a few minutes.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
To get to know each other
on a deeper level.
Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
All right, welcome back to The Buzz. Trying to give you all the updates we can about what's happening in Green Wave Nation here in the halls of Abington High School. This show is actually being taped at the Abington Cam studio, which is inside and part of Abington High School. And now we're very happy to introduce and invite onto the set with us someone who hasn't been with us yet, but it's been a thrill knowing that he was coming. It's our head hockey coach, Bryan Woodford. Welcome aboard, Coach Woodford.
Thank you, Shawn. I'm a big fan of The Buzz. Glad to be here.
Coach Woodford, you are the chief and guy in charge of our hockey program. You've had a very exciting season. You guys just finished up getting ready for the playoff structure. We're waiting for all the announcements for all of our winter sports. But you got to be happy with the group that you guys put together and the success and the fun you've had this season. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on the season that just ended.
Yes, the way things ended were very positive. Starting back to late spring, early summer, it was at one point where we've had a few kids leave through transfers, and we had a lot of kids graduate. That we had 11 kids total in the program, and my nerves were on edge just with numbers and making sure that we have enough to field a program. So at one point this summer, I was nervous. It's my goal always to make sure that this town has a hockey program, but not only a hockey program, but a program that competes. So, the things this summer weren't looking great for numbers. And then we had some kids return who hadn't played hockey in years. We had some kids come back that were going to play for other programs. We had some freshmen come in. And then luckily, due to the waivers, we were able to incorporate 8th graders into the team.
Yep.
And by the time the season came around, we had enough to field a team. But we were young. And, we knew it was going to be an uphill battle and, bringing everybody along. And that's where we had tremendous senior leadership, tremendous upper class leadership to be able to bring 8th graders into a mix, in a positive way, in a nurturing way where they were able to, be mentors, be leaders, do their job as seniors players, but also try and get 8th graders and 9th graders to compete at a varsity level.
Right.
So they battled all year. We had a lot of ups, a lot of downs, but at no point was there any finger pointing or, of course, when you lose a game, it's tough. And at one point we had lost 7 in a row, but I kept telling them, hang in there. There's new power ranking systems in play this year. You're not over till it's over, and they did. And they kept their heads up, and they stayed together, and they weren't yelling at each other, or there was no divide, and, in the end, they finished strong. And, it looks like they earned themselves a tourney berth with the projections as of now.
Well, congratulations to the coaching staff and to the players. And let's talk about your coaching staff. You got a couple of good assistant coaches who bring a lot of experience and knowledge about the game. Ed O'Neill, who actually was in high school when I was in high school, that far long ago. R.J. O'Neill, no relation. Yeah. And then a guy named Nick Malafronte, which everybody knows, Nick Malafronte. They've got to be doing a lot to help you out and contribute to your team, I'm sure.
They are. It's a great staff. Ed came along this year. Ed has probably taught most of the kids in Abington and Rockland how to skate. He has been instrumental over the years at the South Shore Eagles, learned to play, volunteering his time, countless hours to help, which sometimes it's the toughest to coach the youngest because it's very, very tiresome and, you don't see all the fruits of your labor. And but he has plugged along for years and has taught done it for so long that he's taught most of the high school kids how to play when they were younger. So bringing him to this level and now seeing his knowledge come out and helping us, and he's very calm and collected and put together and knowledgeable at hockey. So he's been a great addition to the staff this year. And R.J. O'Neill has been with me since I started. And, he's just a tremendous hockey brain. Him and I click and we know each other, and, he keeps me calm and he tells me when to do things and when not to do things. And I tend to take his advice and run with it because he's got a good sense for the game and a feel for the flow. And then Enmel, he's special. I mean, he's got just a hockey brain on him. Back when I used to coach him in the day, my first stint in Abington as a JV coach years ago, he was just and I say it to the boys all the time, his forechecking and his effort and his grind, is instilled in the program from then till now, and he's been coaching forever. So him and I, over the past couple of years, we seem to be always on the same page. As soon as I get off the bench in between periods, it's right to him.
Yeah.
He's over in the corner, he's taking shots, he's taking face-offs, and he's just got a good view of the game, a good sense of the game. And I then, we go right over to him. We say, Nick, what do you think?
Right.
And he gives us his thoughts, and that helps me and Ed and RJ get our thoughts for in the locker room. And that's where we have the Rockland Rink gives us a beautiful locker room upstairs, but in between periods we come downstairs so that Nick, can get his thoughts out and his opinion, because it's crucial. And so having them three around, it's great for the program. We want more alumni to come around. We want more alumni to be a present.
You're an alumni, right?
I'm an alumni, class of 2000.
Yeah.
And that's it. We're trying to just get the program, get hockey to where it needs to be in town.
Well, you've been head coach now for 3 years. Had a great bunch of guys, a scrappy group this year that really put it together. Let's talk about some of your current players. Some of the guys you get like Jake Quinn, another Quinn playing for Abington Hockey, which is great.
Right.
Ryan Tobin, one of your captains, right? Tell me, throw out some of your names about the guys that have really been the leaders of this team.
Yeah. So Ryan Tobin's he's been our captain now. This is his second year as captain. I remember when I was first on the bench as an interim coach 4 years ago. It's almost like after the first game of coaching him without even really knowing his name, I knew that I wanted him as a captain one day. He's the way he plays, and even, I know when I was a captain on the bench when things weren't going well, I would, sometimes lose my cool or, break down a little, but he's just so steady. And he's just, ups and downs, he's just steady, keeping calm, keeping positive, giving me every little ounce of effort he has. I've never seen anybody throw cleaner, harder hits in my life than he does every single night.
Invaluable to the program.
Invaluable to the program. And his leadership, and he wears his heart on his sleeve, so it was good to see this all come together and him to hang in there. And he knew it was going to be an uphill battle this year, and he did his job. And then this year, Kevin Cashman, who's been with the program all 4 years, has just found that next level. And sometimes it takes players 1 year, 2 years, 3 years longer. And this year, things just clicked for him. And his attitude's been great. He's always had a good attitude, always the most positive. But now he's just ferocious on the ice. And he's just, the puck goes in, and, we know that Kevin's going to get it.
Right.
And he gets it, So his ability to go in and cause so much havoc with his speed and his effort has been, tremendous for the team this year. And then we have Jake Quinn, who's been our leading scorer. And for an undersized player, and that's the new NHL now.
Yeah.
You got to be smaller, quicker. Refs call more penalties. So that speed game and that size, it used to be you want to be the biggest hockey player you could be. Now the game has gotten smaller, and Quinny's taken advantage of it.
It's gone from like a Cam Neely to a Marchand.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And that's not just at the NHL level. It's down, where, you can as a smaller player, the clutching and grabbing and the holding and the slashing, that they're trying to take it out of the game all the way down. So he's flourished, where his knack to score is unmatched.
Yeah.
He's one of the top scorers in the league. He's not, stats wise it may not be the case, but for our team, he's leading our team in points. And it's just every time he steps on the ice, you're like, we could get a goal.
Yeah.
And his whole line between him, Hunter Grafton, and Evan St. Martin, I had from the beginning thought, all right, this could be our first line, and they are clicking, and then it just took some time. When I played around with the lineup and I mixed things, and we had a ton of injuries this year. We've had 3 broken wrists, we've had a concussion, we've had a separated shoulder, we've had another separated shoulder. So we've battled a ton of injuries this year, including the pandemic issues.
Yeah.
So this first line with Quinny, Evan St. Martin, and Hunter Grafton are now clicking. Last game they each had a goal, they each had an assist, and they were pretty goals. They got some grinding goals, but they were just, things your first line should do, moving the puck, they've been doing.
You do a great job with your Twitter account, kind of promoting Abington hockey, letting us know what's going on, who's scoring, the fun. And it's an exciting game to go watch. I know you got a lot of fan support out there in the stands. And a new kind of improvement this year you mentioned to me earlier is a better DJ this year.
Yes.
Let's give a shout out to your man with the music.
Yes, DJ James Madden. He's he's taken our music game to another level, and he's just volunteering his time to come to the rink. And at this point, he's a part of the team.
Yeah.
When we win, he celebrates. When we lose, he knows. He just knows the vibe, and especially my wife, who wasn't a fan of my playlist last year, thinks he's the best DJ in the world, and everybody, it's a good vibe. So it's like coming out, the warm-up music, everything. He does a great job. And very, very thankful for him.
Let me give a shout out also to Dr. James Madden, and also to Matt Nelson, Mad Dog Nelson. Not only does James do the music at the hockey games, but James Madden, who's a student here at Abington High School, and Matt Nelson, who works here at Abington Cam, do a lot of the play-by-play for Abington basketball. In fact, we just had the Sean Carter tournament sponsored by Abington Bank. They did all 4 games, 2 games on Monday and Wednesday night. And, it's great. You can watch the games with no commentary. You can watch the games with commentary, and it's just night and day. So thank you to James and to Matt and to all the people at Abington Cam who bring the hockey games, the basketball games, all the different sports right into your living room at home. Of course, it's always better. We'd love to see you there in the stands because it really makes it an electric feeling.
Right.
And let's talk about, you mentioned a lot of the young kids stepping up, from 8th grade, 9th grade, stepping up. Building the youth in Abington, the youth program is big, and you started something recently that has caught fire. Let's talk about your street hockey program.
Yeah, so that's the Abington Street Hockey League, and it goes back to when I moved to Abington when I was 10. I'm never leaving. This is my home for life. But when I came to Abington, I quickly learned that I had to learn how to play basketball just to make friends.
Yeah.
So I, was starting to morph from Dorchester, where it's a hockey hotbed, into a basketball player. And, I love the sport of basketball. It's a great sport. I love playing it, so much that I was going to play basketball in high school until, my senior captain, John McGrath, talked me out of it. And, at that point, I was the only freshman on the team.
Really?
So by the time I became a senior is when preseason meeting, our coach came in and said, the bad news that broke my heart and made me break down in tears is that the program was folding. So my senior year, set to be a captain, wasn't thinking that the program would ever fold. I'm like, we got 5 guys, we can play, and I just didn't understand the logistics. And, so I remember that feeling of him saying that the season is canceled. Luckily, a week later, a deal was brokered with East Bridgewater, in which we were able to get some players enough to field the team and gave it a go. But from that kind of point forward, I always said that it's one of my life missions to make sure that never happens again, and that we continue to have a program in town forever. But there's work that needs to be put in, and that's at the youth level, and that's with street hockey, and that's with getting people in a sport that is costly, and with time and money, a nice free or cheaper opportunity to enjoy the sport and to learn about it. And that's where this year we started the Abington Street Hockey League that's run on at the end of the summer down at the Abington Police Station courts. Thank you to the police station and the DPW for allowing us to hold this there. And it was just tremendously successful. We had 60 kids age 8 and under. We had leagues all the way up to high school. There was 40 total kids in the league. We had to turn people down. And it was just such a fun event once a week down there. The parking lot was filled. There was people. There was grandmothers sitting in lawn chairs watching their kids play hockey. And the kids loved it. And they all played for the cup. And it was just very, very good vibe down there. And I think that is going to pay dividends for the
That's
hockey
amazing.
programs for years to come. And so that's the exciting part about the future. And there is a buzz around town that just makes me warm in the heart that there's a hockey vibe.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You have an Abington Street Hockey Facebook page.
Yes.
People more information. Who helps you out? I mean, it can't be just you.
Oh
on the
no,
show.
I have it's me and one of my best childhood friends who never played hockey until the age of 35. He started becoming a goalie.
Really?
And now he's all in. But he's got a young son who loves the sport, and he's just on his free time. He makes tremendous website.
What's his name?
John Wattus.
John Wattus
is the co-commissioner of the Abington Street Hockey League, and he puts in all the tech work.
So not only are you a coach, but you're a commissioner.
Yes, I'm a
Unbelievable. Hey, and you just mentioned something I wanted to bring up earlier, how your buddy is a great goalie.
Yeah.
You've got a great goalie in the Abington High School.
I did not say great goalie, but he's a goalie. But yes, I've got a great goalie.
You've got a great goalie in the Abington High School Green Wave hockey team who
Yes.
has been just an all-star candidate throughout the season. Let's talk about Spencer Merrick.
Yes, Spencer is something special. His dedication to his craft, not only at goaltending, but as a catcher for the varsity team is
The baseball team.
for the varsity baseball team is unmatched. I mean, he's the type of kid who he comes prepared. He works hard. He always on duty, and it shows in the game. He's an MVP candidate this season for the league.
Yeah.
And he's going to get some nominations and potentially could win it if it all shakes out right. But his work ethic and his just dedication to his craft shows every game. There have been, out of the probably 20 games this season, we've been outshot maybe 17 of them.
Yeah.
And to be where we are now after getting outshot that much, it says a lot about the wall you got behind you.
Yeah.
And side to side, just gobbling pucks up. There's nobody in the league better than him right now. And he, the last two games, same, shutout, and then only letting 2 goals in the last game against a very strong team. So you put him in net, and that's why the boys know that in front of him.
Yeah.
You put a keeper like that in the net, any game's possible against any team.
It changes the attitude of a hockey team.
Yeah.
If you got a weak goalie, then your defense is always playing a little tenuous. I got to be more conservative. Always be mindful of not letting anyone get a shot. But when you have a strong goalie behind you, that just, like you just said, it just exudes and spreads the confidence moving, from the defense to the forwards, where they can kind of take some opportunities, knowing that Spence is between the pipes back there, and you got a good thing, a solid foundation for a hockey team.
Right, and that's kind of one of the issues we have going forward, not just within the, our program, but even the youth level, is that finding people to get the pads on and get in net is difficult.
Yeah.
It's tough at a young age to commit to that position. And, because it's a very unique position.
Yeah.
And, it's expensive to a degree, and you get all the blame if the game goes wrong.
Yeah.
You get a lot of, not all the time do you get all the glory.
Yeah.
But it's a tough position, and, I encourage young players to give it a try and see if you like it, and, hop in the net, because it's a very fun and rewarding position when you give it your all and you do good. And as you see Spencer, right now I think he's having the time of his life between the pipes, enjoying it. Even like today at practice, we had a few extra minutes after, so he'll get the stick, he'll borrow one of the guys' sticks and just start ripping slap shots all over the ice, so he still gets out and loves the game itself.
Well, that's a good tip for you youngsters out there. If you want to get some guaranteed play time, be a goalie. Start young, work on your talents and your skills, and they do have actual special goalie coaches who can work on your skills. I know Spencer's been through a couple of things to always improve his game.
Always.
But Coach, I want to thank you for coming on to The Buzz. We've been wanting to talk to you for a while, because we know that you're a personality that I think anybody who has seen or touched the Abington High School hockey program knows the effect that you've had on it. You're a very positive guy. The kids really feed off your energy, and I really wish you the best of luck with this young team moving forward and coming up. I hope your street hockey league continues to be as successful as it started, Again, get on the Facebook page for the Abington Street Hockey League if you want some more information, and you'll see Commissioner Woodford down there kind of ruling the roost with the 150 plus kids this summer. And you know, we're moving through the winter, so the ice might stop melting hopefully soon.
Yeah.
No offense to you hockey friends.
I get it.
But we'll try to get to the spring, get to the sports. But congrats on a great, exciting hockey season. We're looking forward to next year. And again, thanks for coming on to the Buzz, Coach Woodford.
Thank you so much, Shawn. Thank you for the kind words. And yes, keep following Abington Hockey 1 on Twitter, and come support your Green Wave. Thank you very much.
All right, before we leave, I just want to send a shout out to Coach Peter Serino from Abington High School Basketball. He recently passed the 100-game victory. He had 100 wins as a head coach of the Abington High School program. Did that in, I think, was it just under 8 years. He's had a couple of great seasons, a lot of long runs. He's been into the TD Garden a couple of times, and congratulations to Coach Peter Serino of our Abington High School basketball program. That's going to be all for this edition of The Buzz. I want to thank you for tuning in, and thank you to all of you who either make donations to the Abington Green Wave Boosters, whether it's $10 or $100, it all goes to our student athletes for safer equipment and better facilities. And thank you also to you fans who show up in the stands, at the hockey rink, in the basketball court, at the lacrosse games, soccer, basketball, volleyball, everything we got here going at Abington High School. We got a lot of great things going. We've got a lot of really great student athletes with stories to tell, and we will continue to bring them to you on more editions of The Buzz as we move forward. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.